You shouldn't be the person who's scared to say no. There's a lot of people who they don't have the self-respect and courage to tell people no. Like somebody can ask you for a favor and they'll just willingly do it, no matter what it is. It could be something that they really don't want to do, something demeaning, or just whatever it is. They just cannot physically say no. I used to be this way, not in an extreme sense, but I was like this. Like a friend could ask for a favor, and even if I didn't want to do it at all, I'd do it almost out of like a sense of obligation. Like I felt like just because I was their friend, I had to do it. And we shouldn't be this way at all. And the worst type of person you can be is somebody's like this with just women. If you're a man and you're fine with saying no to your friends, right? Your friend might ask you for a favor and you say no, but if a girl asks you, you always say yeah, you always do the favor. I'm sorry. You got things to work on. That's one of the worst places you can be at. But I'm not gonna lie, I was like this at certain parts of my life, not the woman part, but just I couldn't say no. And I know it's a struggle to get over, but the root cause of this, in my opinion, is just a lack of self-respect. You feel like you're obligated to do it, and even though you don't want to, you still do it just because you feel like you have to. And I feel like to a certain degree, we should all be selfish, especially as men. I think men should be selfish. And whenever you're always constantly saying yes to people and you're not sticking up for yourself or doing things that are in your best interest, you're kind of just harming yourself. It's almost self-sabotage. Almost. I'm not gonna say it is, because it's nice to do things for people sometimes, and sure, you should do it sometimes, but you shouldn't feel like you have to, because you're putting yourself in a spot where if one day it clicks and you decide you don't want to do this anymore, they're gonna think that you changed, like you're fake. But in reality, you always saying yes is fake, and it's because you don't want to do it. You're just doing it because you feel like you have to, whenever you don't. Doing this kind of sets you back, and it also messes with your self-image, because you can kind of feel the lack of self-respect whenever you do this. You feel you don't want to, but you're gonna do it anyways. It's almost like, I don't want to say you're getting bitched, but that's kind of how it feels like looking at it, especially whenever it's somebody you're not really close with. If it's like your best friend, sure, like I get it, sure, it's your best friend, you should be helping each other, he should be helping you too. But if it's just like anybody, if it's like your boss or like just some distant friend, you shouldn't be scared to say no, right? Especially in those situations. Like if it's maybe not even a boss, if it's a coworker and your coworker is trying to like delegating work off to you and you're too scared to say no, that is a huge self-respect issue, and it's something you should like key in on. You might not have realized it before, but that is a lack of self-worth, because he should be doing it. So why are you doing it? You're doing it because you want to impress him, or is it because you're like what's the reason? Ask yourself that and get introspective with it and try to understand why you're doing that. And then whenever you figure that out, work on that and try to get to the point where you're capable of saying no. Because people who are like this, who can't say no, who are just yes men and say yes to everything and do everybody favors, it's hard for them to get out of it. It's not something you can just turn off, right? It's a habit that you've built up over time, and it's almost something you identify with. So I know it's hard to quit, especially because I was there before. For me, it was really in high school and not really after that, so it wasn't really that hard for me to break. But there's still certain people I'm like that with, like my best friends. I feel like I have to help them whenever I need to, and I don't feel like there's a problem with that. I feel like that's a good thing. I feel like I'm being loyal, I'm being a good friend, and you might feel the same way whenever it's just with a normal person. But sure, it's nice, but it's not in your best interest, and you're just kind of avoiding the awkward feeling of saying no, because it can be awkward. But if you say it with assertiveness and not trying to downplay it, like, oh, I'm so sorry, or whatever. If you just say it with assertiveness, like, no, I don't want to do that. Maybe not with that tone of voice, but like, just nah, I'm not gonna do that. It's a lot less awkward, first of all, which, I mean, that sounds weird, but it is. It's a lot less awkward, but it's also making you seem more confident, and it's making what you want known. You don't want to do it, so don't do it. And that doesn't just go with things like work or doing favors. It's just with things in general. If you don't want to do something, don't do it, because that's being true to yourself. It's being who you are, and that's what you should be doing to begin with. So, I don't know. Quick little take. I feel like it's pretty important, especially people trying to develop confidence, because I think just being a yes man can definitely severely damage your confidence. But just to an extent, if it's something somebody asked you to come try something new with them, and you're saying no because you're scared, don't think about it that way. Think about it as in like I genuinely don't want to do it, so I'm gonna say no. Don't do it just out of fear, right? But if it's something you genuinely don't want to do, stop saying yes to it. Just actually start giving your real opinion and be true to who you are, and be true to yourself, and be true to what you believe in. And that's pretty much it. If you got any value from this video, I really appreciate if you subscribe. But besides that, got any goals, go make them happen.